Hi students, I'll try in this educational video to technologically introduce the bolt joint resistance at the ultimate limit state criterion associated to shear force, of course, as simply and as clearly as possible. Okay, let's go. Well, first of all, it's to note that the bolt joint is widely used in steel connections, such as the connections between beams, columns, and bracing, the haunch connection, the apex connection, also the base plate connection, and other types of steel connections. In this bolt joint steel connections, the bolt is subjected to tension, shear, and bearing. So the ball joint resistance verification should be carried out as shear resistance per shear plate, bearing resistance, tension resistance, and combined shear and tension resistance. In this educational video, I will talk about the shear resistance per shear plate. And in next educational videos, I will talk about the other ball joint resistance verification. Okay, based on the Eurocon 3 standards associated to the European Standards 1993-1-1, the ultimate limit state criterion associated to the shear force applied on a bolt joint is expressed as FVED, which is the design shear force, divided by FVRD, which is the shear resistance, is lower than 1. This simply means that the applied shear force on the bolt joint should not exceed the shear resistance of the bolt joint. For the design shear force FVED, it can be simply seen as the maximum shear force applied on the bolt. So, for the case of single shear bolt, as it is depicted by the figure that you see now in this slide, the maximum shear force occurs in the shear plane as it is depicted by the figure that you see in the right of this slide. For another example, like this one, the double shear bolt, we have two shear planes, so we have two maximum shear force applied on the bolt in each shear plane, as it is depicted by the figure that you see in the bottom right of this slide. For the shear resistance FVRD, technologically speaking, we talk about the shear resistance per shear plane for ordinary bolts, and we have two cases. The first one is when the shear plane is crossing the bolt unthreaded portion, and the second case is when the shear plane is crossing the bolt threaded portion. For the first case of unthreaded portion, based on the European Standards 1993-1-8 Table 3.4, the shear resistance FVRD is expressed as 0.6 multiplied by the ultimate tensile strength of the bolt FUB multiplied by the gross cross-section of the bolt A divided by gamma M2, which is equal to 1.25 for bolts and welds. For the second case of the threaded portion, based on the same European Standards 1993-1-8 Table 3.4, the shear resistance FVRD is expressed as alpha V multiplied by the ultimate tensile strength of the bolt FUB multiplied by the tensile stress area of the bolt divided by gamma M2, which is equal to 1.25. Alpha V is obtained by the table that you see now in the bottom of this slide, depending on the bolt classes. This educational video takes end. If you have any questions, remarks, or suggestions, please mention it in the comments. Thanks a lot.